Good afternoon. This is Professor Sedghi's psych class, section 0155, and we are going to be attending to the subject of substance abuse and the effect that it has on the brain and the behaviors. And with me today are Jane and Chanel and Chris, and of course everybody knows me. My name is Hoyt. So I will be going first, so everybody can scoot and leave me here by myself. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to use notes in order to remain focused. Now, my subject that I chose was marijuana. A big surprise there, right? So, in 1992, there were discoveries first made that there were receptors for THC in the brain, or rather docking sites for body chemicals much like THC. Now, considering that marijuana isn't a single molecule such as cocaine or alcohol is, marijuana contains approximately 400 different chemicals, cannabinoids, 80 of which have been defined thus far. We still have a very long way to go studying the remaining 320 chemicals. So hopefully the pharmaceutical industry will be able to successfully synthesize these cannabinoids to be more effective in targeting the right chemical receptors related to the problematic biological behaviors in need. THC, as well as other cannabinoids, temporarily tilt the balance of the chemicals in the brain involved with thoughts, feelings, and memories. And keeping in mind that THC is the main chemical in marijuana that blocks the pain receptors. This is why a lot of people basically go for it. Pot will subtly alter sensory perceptions, your feelings of heightened sensitivity and a distorted sense of the passage of time, while impairing one's overall judgment and reasoning. It disrupts the short-term memory in heavy users. Okay, enough said on that one. I know about that one. Most common effects are changes in perception to feelings of relaxation and euphoria. Excuse me. The other psychological effects are hallucinations, impaired judgment, mood swings, and while there is no proof that marijuana, a stipulated Schedule 1 drug, causes a physical addiction, it does not cause a physical addiction. It only creates a psychological dependence, which, that's kind of hard to define in the first place. So, is this a gateway drug? Probably not. Has anyone ever overdosed on marijuana? Not that we've seen. So, basically, the most useful aspect of marijuana, whether it is still considered an illicit drug or the medical uses, are for people who suffer from illnesses such as the typical response we hear all the time is either glaucoma, depression, there's epilepsy, tuberculosis, there's the wasting away diseases such as anorexia or bulimia or unexplained weight losses. There's also Parkinson's disease, schizophrenia, and there's chemotherapy recovery, and there's spinal cord injuries as well as other chronic pain issues, and then there's neuropathic pain, such as metastatic cancers, multiple sclerosis, diabetes, and people who suffer with HIV and AIDS. Now, there's only two strategies that one could utilize to avoid any side effects, which are minimal in this case, that medical marijuana may produce, such as the issues with short-term memory problems. Number one, stop. Number two, cut down. And that's the end of my section. Next, we will be hearing from Chanel.
So I'm Chanel, and I will be talking about heroin. Heroin is a highly addictive drug derived from morphine, which is obtained from opium poppy plants. It affects the brain's pleasure systems and interferes with the brain's ability to perceive pain. Often when heroin users seek a high, they want euphoria, a pleasurable sensation caused by changes in the brain. Heroin can be used in a variety of ways, depending on the user's preference and the purity of the drug. It can be injected into the vein, a muscle, and it can also be smoked and lastly snorted as powder. Some of the short and long effects of heroin are skin flushing, dry mouth, nausea, vomiting, intense itching, drowsiness, and slow cardiac system function and slow breathing. The long-term effects in the brain are tolerance and dependence. Tolerance, in which more of the drug is needed to achieve the same high, and dependence characterized by the need to continue to use of the drug to avoid the withdrawal of the drug. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jane. My topic is alcohol. Alcohol is a psychoactive drug that acts as a central nervous system depressant. As blood alcohol levels increase, the body responds to it in stages which range from relaxation, euphoria, and excitement to confusion, stupor, a coma, and in extreme cases, death. Moderate consumption of alcohol can lower inhibitions, it increase relaxation, dull the senses, raise the pain threshold, and limit the ability to think clearly. As blood alcohol increases, users may experience heightened emotional responses, including anger and aggression, lack of coordination, poor balance, slurred speech, dizziness, disturbed sleep, nausea, and vomiting. Extreme alcohol consumption can cause memory loss, complete loss of coordination, and alcohol poisoning. In some cases, overdoses can be fatal. Alcohol impacts behavior in a variety of ways. For one, alcoholics are more likely to attempt or complete suicide. They are more likely to have poor interpersonal relationships, live alone, have higher levels of aggression and impulsivity, and have overall negative outlook on life.
Hello, my name is Christopher Taylor, and my topic today will be cocaine. Cocaine is a high-priced way of getting high. Its nicknames include the caviar of street drugs, coke, blow, crack, rock. It's extracted from the cocoa bush. When it comes to affecting the brain, it can cause strokes and seizures, from what I've researched. It also can affect your chemical messengers, the neurotransmitters, and the high usually wears off in about 30 minutes to 2 hours. People say it increases their sense of energy, alertness, makes them it gives them an extremely elevated mood and a feeling of supremacy. On the other hand, it makes them feel irritable, paranoid, restless, and anxious. Some of the signs of coke use would be dilated pupils, high levels of energy and activity, being very excited. It really affects the deep parts of the brain, and that have to do with good behavior. These activities that lead to food, like pleasure eating food, pleasure in having sex, and just the healthy pleasure of being alive. In the words of Rick James, cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Okay, so Professor Sedghi, that was our video. As cool as it was, we hope you enjoy it. We had a lot of fun putting it together under such short notice. But if we were going to give anybody any advice who are still suffering it would be
When in doubt, get help.
Thank you.